You're about to see a powerful explosion. A massive drone attack, say the Russians, accusing Ukraine of, they claim, damaging their fleet of warships in the Crimean port of Sevastopol. While these are murky waters, what is clearer, Crimea is extremely symbolic and a strategic site for President Vladimir Putin. It was illegally annexed by Russia from Ukraine back in 2014. This has undoubtedly hit a nerve in Moscow.
Today at 4:20 a.m, the Kyiv regime carried out a terrorist attack on Black Sea fleet ships and civilian vessels on the outer and inner harbours of the Sevastopol base station. The attack involved 9 unmanned aerial vehicles and 7 autonomous marine drones. Because of the measures taken by the Black Sea Fleet's ships, all the aerial targets were destroyed.
As Russia claimed they began this counterattack from the skies above the port. While Ukraine have not admitted any involvement, as they rarely do on claims made by Russian authorities in Crimea, this video appears to show an unmanned naval vessel. Its magnitude has, however, been felt from all sides as the diplomatic war of words intensified. Without providing evidence, Russia then singled out British troops, accusing them of being involved not only in today, but in last month's attack on the Nord Stream gas pipelines.
According to available information, representatives of this unit of the British Navy took part in the planning, provision and implementation of a terrorist attack in the Baltic Sea on September 26 this year, blowing up the Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 gas pipelines.
And in a stormy exchange, the UK's Ministry of Defence responded. This is about as on the nose as it gets in military speak, accusing Russia of resorting to peddling false claims of an epic scale to detract from what they called their disastrous handling of the illegal invasion of Ukraine. More uncharted waters now lie ahead.
Well, Ukraine has accused Moscow of engaging in yet more primitive blackmail. Our Foreign Affairs correspondent Porrick O'Brien is in Dnipro. Porrick.
Jackie, some of the more reliable pro-Russian military telegram channels are reporting today that one of the ships that was struck in what Minnie was talking about in the report there, that one of those ships was called the Admiral Makarov. Now, that's the flagship of the Russian fleet in the Black Sea. Those telegram channels are also saying that its radar system was damaged. That's significant on 2 fronts. First of all, it's the flagship, and the last flagship, the Moskva, sank famously in April. But in terms of the radar systems, the Russians launched cruise missiles from the Admiral Makarov, cruise missiles that we've seen wreak devastation on the civilian infrastructure of Ukraine recently. So that is why this is potentially significant militarily. Beyond the battlefield, if you like, though, it has other significance. You spoke about the grain deal earlier. Remember, this was a deal brokered between Turkey and brokered by Turkey and the UN, I should say, back in July. It allowed grain to be exported back out of Ukrainian ports like Odessa. Remember, the World Food Programme buys something like half of its grain from Ukraine. So Russia has officially said it's withdrawing from that deal. There were problems with the deal already, but this is an official announcement that they are withdrawing. And that is a big issue for particularly developing countries. Expect in the weeks and months to come more talk, warning of food crises and potentially famine in developing countries.
Porrick, thanks very much. Well, meanwhile, Ukraine has warned citizens to expect even longer blackouts after more energy infrastructure was damaged by Russian attacks. Officials have urged millions of refugees not to try returning until after the winter to avoid putting strain on limited resources. But after months of war, some have managed to go back for a few days to see relatives and check up on their homes. We travelled with one young English teacher. She made the risky journey back to Kharkiv in eastern Ukraine. Returning home, not sure what she will find. Svitlana Pristupa fled her home in Kharkiv back in March when the city was under relentless attack by Russian forces.
Kharkiv is really suffering right now. A lot of bombing occurs.
She came to England under the refugee scheme, thanks to a sponsor who offered her a room in his home in South London.
Hi, how are you doing?
But 7 months later, she decided to go back with her sister to check in on friends and family and find out what had happened to her city since she left.
It is very surreal and strange because the city on the one hand lives and fights and its heart beats because there are some shops and some restaurants, the transport is running, so the city is breathing. But on the other hand, the city is big and usually a lot of people live here. Now, of course, it's not that crowded, and to see this huge megapolis so empty is really strange.
Kharkiv is just 20 miles from the Russian border, and although Ukrainian forces have liberated almost the entire province, the city is deeply scarred by bomb damage.
For every Kharkiv citizen, those places are parts of their lives. So when you see it, you think of your own life and your own past, like, oh, I met my school friend here, oh, I had a nice cup of coffee here, I had a lovely date here, and now it's just all ruins and it smells of death and destruction and fear.
Missile and drone attacks are now a part of life, yet those who've remained in the city somehow carry on. Electricity supplies are now extremely limited, with rolling blackouts and power cuts. At night, the city is plunged into complete darkness and winter is coming. But Svetlana is looking forward to the time when she can move back home for good.
I'm so worried about people who are still here, my close ones, but I think they are really made of steel because I would be so scared every minute. I hope that they don't have so much stress, and I'm really looking forward to our victory. To go back home as well. I miss this place, I love it so much.